I love that. Andrew Jackson was the 7th president of the United States, serving from 1829 to 1837. A powerful leader. Among our presidents, his reputation has always been somewhat mixed. In recent years, his career as a slaveholder, his leadership of wars against Native peoples in the Southeast, and as the architect of the Trail of Tears, removal of Native peoples, that caused many to re-examine his place in our history and the honors given to him. In 2016, plans were made to rectify the absence of women from our paper currency by moving the slave-owning, Indian-killing Andrew Jackson from the front to the obverse face of our $20 bill. He was to be replaced by Harriet Tubman. Now you'll remember, I'm sure, the Susan B. Anthony $1 coin, which finally went out of circulation because it was too small and hard to tell from a quarter, and nobody used it. This was done, in my belief, because vending machine operators did not want to retool their machines to take a larger coin, as is the practice in the rest of the world. So they're sitting in a vault somewhere, all of them. Now, it's sad to say that the current occupant of the White House is a great fan of Andrew Jackson, and so had a portrait of the slaveholding Indian killer removed from storage and placed in the Oval Office. At the same time, the decision to place Harriet Tubman on our currency was reconsidered. I think this speaks for itself. The woman who became known as Harriet Tubman was born a slave in Maryland somewhere around 1822. One of 9 children, her birth name was Araminta, or Minty, Ross. She later changed her first name to Harriet to honor her mother when she married a man named John Tubman. We know some facts about the slave life of young Minty, and they make for harrowing reading. Well, sad to say, not that much different from the terrible experiences of most of the enslaved population, who were treated as objects, as property, to be used and exploited and then discarded when no longer useful, according to the whim of their owners. I think of the chilling words of Audre Lorde that we just shared. We were never meant to survive. At least, never meant to survive past being useful and exploitable. As an adolescent, Minty was knocked unconscious one day when a 2-pound metal weight thrown by an overseer and another slave struck her in the head. She was brought to her owner's house, where she was laid on a bench and remained for 2 days without medical attention. Somehow, recovering. She was just then returned to work, like a machine of some kind, but was to suffer from this injury for the rest of her life. We are just now learning about the effects of concussions, the long-term effects of a blow to the head, although her injury appeared to be even more severe. Throughout her subsequent life, she suffered extremely painful headaches and seizures, seeming to be asleep, yet well aware of her surroundings. It has been speculated that her injury might have caused temporal lobe epilepsy. She began to experience strange, vivid dreams and visions, which she interpreted as premonitions from God. She combined those with her upbringing in the Methodist Church and was moved to a deep, pious religious devotion expressed in biblical terms. However, her biblical devotion had nothing to do with some urgings for slaves to be submissive to their masters found within the New Testament. No. For her, as for so many of the enslaved brought into Christian traditions, it was the Old Testament that spoke most deeply. They were moved by the narratives of the children of Israel, held in bondage by Pharaoh, who then, through the power of God manifested in their leader Moses, escaped Egypt on a harrowing journey through the wilderness to come at last to the promised land. How easy it was to see themselves in that same position. They were held in bondage in a foreign land, at least foreign to their ancestors, even though by the time of Harriet, many had been born here. The abuses perpetrated upon them, beginning with the very fact of being slaves, are too many and too well known for me to go into now. The lie has long been given to the myth of African racial inferiority, to the myth of happy slaves grateful to massa, lies perpetrated by slaveholders to justify their crimes against humanity. Harriet, like every slave, whether owned by whites or native peoples or blacks, knew better than that. The grace of God sometimes includes irony. And the irony here is that owners who thought that by pushing Christianity upon their slaves were encouraging them to be submissive were in fact doing just the opposite, arming them with a vision of liberation that needed only opportunities and leaders. Harriet heeded that vision. She escaped from bondage in 1849, traveling by night, guided by the North Star, avoiding slave catchers, aided here and there by sympathetic families. At last, entering the free state of Pennsylvania, she later recalled, "When I found I had crossed that line, I looked at my hands to see if I was the same person. There was such a glory over everything. The sun came like gold through the trees, and I felt like I was in heaven." Imagine if you had come through such an experience, had somehow survived 27 years of brutality and bondage, then a journey through night-bound woods and swamps to win freedom in the promised land. What do you think you might do? I have to wonder myself, what do I think I would do? For Harriet, there was no question. She immediately returned to Maryland, to slave territory, to rescue her family. One group at a time, she brought them all out of the state, and then others as well. 13 times, and with a price on her head, this black Moses, as she was called, risked everything on this journey, and 13 times succeeded. Never, as she said, losing a passenger on that underground railway to the north, and later all the way to Canada. Being nearly killed at the hands of a brutal overseer, escaping slavery, and then bringing 13 more groups through tremendous danger to freedom, you might think that would be enough for one life, but not for Harriet. When the Civil War last began, she started working for the Union Army, first as a cook and a nurse. Later, she acted as a scout for Army units. And on June 2nd, 1863, she helped lead Colonel James Montgomery's troops on the Combahee River Raid that freed 750 slaves. Newspapers praised Harriet Tubman for her patriotism, sagacity, energy, and ability. Later, she worked with Colonel Robert Gould Shaw of the famous 59th Regiment, immortalized in a monument fronting the State House. You may remember the 1990 movie, Glory. Now you might think that would be enough for one life, but not for Harriet. Never having received a salary, and for years denied just compensation for her services, Harriet spent the rest of her life in relative penury. She lived in a small piece of land she had purchased near Auburn, New York, and continued to do her best to take care of family and others. Among other things, establishing a rest home for indigent African Americans. You might think that would be enough for one life, but not for Harriet. She became active in the cause of women's suffrage, working alongside Susan B. Anthony and others. When the National Federation of Afro-American Women was founded in 1896, Harriet was the keynote speaker at its first meeting. And that not being enough, she became heavily involved with the African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church there in Auburn. At the last, her body worn out by suffering and work that I at least am unable to imagine, she was admitted to the very rest home that she had founded for poor African Americans, where she died of pneumonia in 1913. Just before she passed away, she told those in the room with her, "I go to prepare a place for you." Moses for the last. When I read those words of Audre Lorde that we shared earlier, those stunning words, we were never meant to survive, I have to think of Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth and Frederick Douglass and the hundreds of thousands of other slaves of that era who were never meant to survive, at least not past their usefulness as property and labor. And of the millions of their descendants today, who, while at least freer in theory, have nonetheless suffered racism and Jim Crow since that time, and who, despite undeniable progress, must still sometimes wonder if they are meant to survive, at least by the system of white racial supremacy against which they still must struggle. There is a journey to be made. A journey to be made less by black than by white people, who, while they never intended it to be this way, and don't intend it to be this way, have yet to recognize the depth of racism that has been built into the very society, into the structure and the bones of the society in which we live, and from which we benefit unequally. And this is hard. Hard to think about, it's hard to say, hard to contemplate. We, all of us, but particularly white people, must confront some hard and unpleasant truths. And we cannot lay them all off on past generations. generations, or upon people who live down there or over there, or just on people who march with hoods and torches and Confederate flags. Yes, they do that. And yes, they must be confronted and contained. But we cannot lay it all off on them. Nor can we lay it all off on the current administration in Washington, which has been busy giving permission by example to treat people of color, or Muslims, or immigrants, or Jews, as if they were not only outsiders, but as if in order to protect our group, those outsiders are threats, to be treated as if they were never meant to survive. Wherever we are, we must own our history. We must own our present. And we must resolve to change, even if it is hard and we are fearful. Because we must remember, as Audre Lorde wrote, that even when we are silent, we are still afraid. So it is better to speak. Remember. May peace.